Hello students. So let us just quickly go through the solutions for this paper that I tell you to try. Of course, you did this as the practice rehearsal, okay, for your examination. So let's quickly run through, and of course along the way, please listen to some of the points that's been mentioned, especially the way we present our answers. So when it comes to the examination, really we need to actually be prepared to present in a way that's a lot systematic, logical, and make sure we hit all the necessary key concepts, right? So for the first question, they want us to calculate this. Now, one thing we'll need to remember is that we want to actually write down an irrational number corrected to three significant figures. So that is actually the instructions given as the default. So we need to actually demonstrate the concept. So over here, when we use the calculator, what we obtain is 3.40615, etc. Right? So when we round off to three significant figure, we write down 3.41, and then we say three significant figures. So this is how it works. We should actually show both the before rounded off and after rounded off version, right? So 3.41 over here. Okay, so moving on, next one. The number of people attending a concert is given as 55,000, correct to the nearest thousand. Write down the minimum number of people. So this one is quite straightforward. So 55,000 is after we round off. So if we were to bring it down, it will be 54500. So from here, if we round up, it will be 55,000. If it's just one less, 54449, we will actually have to round down, right? Okay, next question. The property agent charges a commission of 1.5% on the selling price of the house. Given that the agent received a commission of $11,250, find the selling price. So what do? Well, what we can do is actually to figure out how much is 1.5%. It's that straightforward, right? So 1.5%, right? Okay, of the selling price is actually 11,250. Therefore, 100% of the selling price, right, will simply be 100 over 1.5 multiplied by 11,250. Okay, so this works out to be 750,000. Right, so let's write down. Okay, going back, 750,000. Okay, next question. Here's a simple algebra question for you to simplify, right? So what do we do here? Okay, so we are actually applying the distributive law. So remember, the 5 is distributed in. So 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, right? And minus 4. So we continue to simplify. 15x is there. Minus 10 and then minus 4 again will give us minus 14. Right? So we have 15x minus 14. Okay. Okay, next question. Yeah, Daddy recording the answers to this question for my student. Okay. Right. Okay, next one. So we are given the formula s equals to ut plus half at squared. Find the value of s when a is equals to negative 3, t is equals to 6, and u is equals to 20. So one of the things I mentioned in class was that when we replace a letter in the algebra with a number, we are actually replacing it with a bracket. So the brackets is actually important here, right? So I can actually just write down this way. S equals to, I replace the u with a bracket, replace the t with a bracket, plus half, replace the a with a bracket, replace the t with a bracket. So I could just write everything down with the bracket over here first, right? Oops. All right, some popped up appear on my device. let's get back. Right, then after that we fill in the values. So let's see, first one is u is 20, so I just put 20 inside the bracket here. And then we have t is 6, so I just replace it with 6. Then we put a is negative 3, and then t again 6, right? So when we do this, we will end up with 66. Okay, so a common error that some students make was you ignore the bracket. And when you ignore the bracket, one danger is that down here is negative 3 times 6 squared. So you're supposed to do the 6 square first, because that square belongs only to the 6 to get 36, and 36 times negative 3, you actually get a negative number there, right? So, but if you are not careful with the brackets, you will end up multiplying negative 3 with 6 first. Then you square it, then we have an issue. Okay, so be careful here. Okay, be careful. Right? Next one, write down the 864 as a product of its prime factors. So this one is quite straightforward. This one, most of you got this correct. So I'm just going to do this very quickly. So you already know what to do, right? So divide by 2, and then I can continue. Divide by 2 again. This is 216, and I can keep going. This is 108, and one more time, I get 54, and one more time, right? So it's 27. So at this point, I know that 864 is equals to 2 to the power of 5. Let's see how many 3's. Actually, we already know that it's going to be 3 of them, right? There we go. Okay, so there's 3 copies of 3. So the answer, they want us to write it down as a product of its prime factors. So it's 2 to the power of 5 times 3 to the power of 3, right? Okay, the next one. Next one, we have a number 864 is a perfect square where k is an integer, right? Find the smallest possible value of k. So what happened is 864 over k is actually 2 to the power of 5 times 3 to the power of 3 over k. Now, a perfect square is where the index or the power are even. Therefore, I need to remove a copy of 2 and remove a copy of 3 from the original 864, which means k is going to be 2 times 3, which is equals to 6, right? So k equals to 6 over here. Okay. Right, next question. It is given that m is equals to 2 to the power of x times 3 times 5 to the power of 3, and n is 2 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of y times 5 squared times 7 to the power of z. So if the highest common factor of m and n is 2 times 3 times 5 squared, state the value of x. So we know what to do with highest common factor, right? Highest common factor actually grabs the factor with the lower power. So what happened is m and n, we have 2 to the power of x versus 2 to the power of 2, and we want 2 to the power of 1 over here, right? So it's 2 to the power of 1. So therefore, our x has to be 2 to the power of 1, right? So x is equal to 1. We just need to write it down. Just comparing, right? Now, how about the LCM? LCM, this time round, we are looking for the higher power, right? So we are looking at y. So we have 3 to the power of y versus 3 to the power of 1. So over here, we want 3 to the power of 2, right? So by comparing, y is going to be equal to 2, right? And finally, for z, well, in this case, what happened? Z is actually 7 to the power of z. There is no 7, right? 7 is not a common factor over here. Therefore, z is actually equal to 0, right? So when it's not there, it's actually to the power of 0. Okay? Right, next. Okay, the first 4 diagram in the sequence is shown. Find the number of dots. So this one, most students got it correct. It is 22. Okay, so you just keep counting, you will reach there, right? Because from one diagram to the next diagram, we are actually adding 3 dots, right? We add 1 dot to the right, 1 dot to the left, and 1 dot to the bottom. So we just keep adding 3, adding 3, and adding 3, and so on. So you can work it out, and after the 7th diagram, what do we get? Okay, so find an expression in terms of n for the number of dots in the diagram n. So what happened is the common difference here is actually 3, right? And then the a, which is the first term, is actually, let's take a look, 4 dots. Okay, so t to the power n is equals to a plus, okay, I just write down 4 straight away, why not, right? 4 plus 3 n minus 1. This is a formula. Now, here we have an issue, right? Because when we write down an algebraic expression, we always write down in the simplest form. So some students actually stop here. You should not stop here. You must continue to simplify. So it's 4 plus 3n minus 3, which will give us 4n plus 1. So 4n plus 1 is what you want to write here, right? Sorry, 3n, 3n plus 1. Rewind, I write wrongly. Okay, it's 3n plus 1, right? So, but again, it's 3 times n is 3n. I see a couple of you actually write down 3 times n plus 1. Why do you not want to simplify 3 times n to 3n? So you do that, right? So 3n plus 1. There we go. Okay. So next part. Rachel says that one of the diagram has 165 dots. Do you agree with her? So what are we doing here, right? We want to test whether there is a diagram with 165 dots. And how do we test that? So some students gave a lot of working, and then that's it, right? Or some students did some working and says you work backwards. But ladies and gentlemen, working backwards is not a reason, right? We are supposed to explain the reason. You don't explain the reason as working backwards. Some people say, oh, it cannot be divided by 3 or not divisible by 3. So what? Divisible by 3 or not is not a criteria of whether this 165 dots exists, right? The criteria that we are really looking for is that the n, which is a term number, has to be an integer, right? N is 1, n is 2, n is 3, n is 4. That's the diagram. So we need to find out the value of n. And if your working does not find the value of n, you are on the wrong track. To properly explain this, you need to find n and check whether this value is an integer or not. So if you didn't try to find n at all, I'm sorry, you did not actually earn the credit for this question. So what we have here is actually Tn, which is equals to 3n plus 1 equals to 165. This is what we have, right? Because what exactly is 3n plus 1, which we found in the earlier part B? And that's why they are the same question. They are the continuation, right? So 3n plus 1 is actually the number of dots. So 3n plus 1 is 165. So 3n is equals to 164. And n is equals to 54 and 2/3. And that is what we mean to do to get the first of the 2 marks over here. We need to find the value of n. And then after that, you disagree, right? I disagree, right? Okay, or say no, I do not agree. I think sure, why not? Let's follow the way the question is structured. So no, I do not agree. And then what exactly is the reason? The reason is, right, because and, right, you need to explain it in terms of n. N is not an integer, right? So this is what we want to do. We want to actually find the value of n and show that it's not an integer. Okay, right, moving on, next one. Okay, solving algebra. So over here, fraction. So what we need to do is make the denominator common. So in this case, 3 and 5, I'm going to make the denominator 15, right? So that means 5 times 2x over here plus 3 times x plus 9 over here. That gives us 7. So we simplify this, 10x plus 3x plus 27 equals to 7 times 15. 7 times 15 is 105, right? So putting them together, 13x plus 27 equals to 105. 13x is equals to 78. X is equals to 6. There we go. We solve it, right? X equals to 6. Now, this question, right? This question, let's see. We are supposed to find y over x. So what are we going to do over here, right? So let's simplify as much as we can first. So 5x, okay, let me try to write it with neater handwriting. 5x minus 3y equals to 2y plus y, right? So that will give us 3x is equals to 4y. Now, many of you managed to get this step, right? But what do we do next, right? What we need to do next is we need to get y over x. So how to get y over x? We can divide both sides of the equation with x. So 3x divided by x is x. Then after that, y divided by x is y over x, right? So we have that. Okay, let's write it this way first. We have 4y over x. And then we divide both sides with 4, right? So 3 over 4 equals to y over x. So from here, therefore, y over x equals to 3 over 4. Job done, right? 3/4. Okay, let's go. Next one. Solve the inequality. Now, inequality, when you write down your answer in the answer section, you need to write down the inequality. I need to see the greater than or lesser than or greater or equals than or lesser or equals than. You cannot just give me the number there. It doesn't make sense. You should not, right? But anyway, over here, same thing. We do the expansion. So 14 minus 7x is less than or equals to 3, right? So from here, negative 7x is less than or equals to negative 3 minus 14 is 11. So divide by negative 7. So what happened is when we divide, the direction actually changed, right? So what happened is we have negative 11 over negative 7. So that means x is greater or equals to 11 over 7. So you need to write down the whole thing. Okay, greater or equals to 11 over 7. Now, you can also, if you prefer, rewrite 11 over 7 to 1 and 4 over 7, right? Let me correct that. Okay, you can write both version. This is okay, this is okay. Okay, so hence find the smallest integer. Now, in this case, you find that, this is my number line. This is 1 and 4 over 7. I need something greater on this side. So the next integer here will be 2. So naturally, this is 2. Okay? Right. Yeah, this one I'm not going to write down the answer. I'm just going to verbally say it. So listen carefully. And anyway, you're watching this as a video. You can always go back and re-watch it again and re-listen again. Now, what exactly is the problem here? They say state one feature. After stating one feature, explain how it is going to lead to a misinterpretation. So what exactly is the misinterpretation here, right? So down here, you see the headline. The headline actually helps you. It says huge increase in monthly expenditure. Is it true? Well, let's take a look, right? It looks like in November, whoa, the expenditure go up quite a lot. But is it true? If you look at this, it's actually just 901,000, which means over here, I did not actually start at 0. Over here could be 700 plus looking at the scale, but so we did not start at 0. Straight away, because we did not start at 0, it looks as though November is almost 2 times more compared to June, July, and August. But that's not true, right? So what exactly is the feature? The feature is I did not start at 0. The money expenditure, it did not start at 0. And then what exactly is the misinterpretation? The misinterpretation is that the increase becomes exaggerated. Because if it starts from 0, then 900 to 1,000 is just about 10% only, right? Whereas from down here, if I start at like almost 800, then after that to 900 to 1,000, 900 to 1,000 is like 2 times, correct? Half of the entire scale. So that is actually the issue here. Okay, that's actually the issue here. So this is what you should take note in this case. Okay, right. Next one. Expand and simplify this. Well, this one you can just use the rainbow method or your rectangle method. Okay, whatever the case, we have 3m plus 4 and 2 plus 5m. There are 2 different methods that I've shown in class. If you're still not sure, please ask me in person, or your buddy next to you could actually know how to do it, right? Seek help, right? So down here, what we have is 3m times 2 is actually 6. Then we have 3 times 5m is 15m, plus 4 times 2 is 8, plus 4 times 5m is 20m, right? M 4m, m squared, right? 20. Rewind, 20m. The square is here, right? 3m times 5m is 15m squared. Then after that we plus this is m plus 8 plus 20m, right? So put them together, 15m squared plus 26m plus 8. Okay, so this is actually another way that some people informally call it. Is called the rainbow method, right? A good practice is that you put the square first, then the non-square. So 15m squared plus 26m plus 8. There are some students who write down like 8 plus 26m plus 15m squared, or 26m plus 15m plus 8. The mathematically is still correct, but usually the convention is to put the m squared first. Okay, so second part, right? Now they say that this particular value here is equals to 15m squared minus 70. Find the value m. So we already know this, right? We have already simplified this to 15m squared plus 26m plus 8. And this is equals to 15m squared minus 70. So this means 26m plus 8 is equals to negative 70. which means 26m is equals to negative 78, m equals to negative 3, right? Negative 78 divided by negative 3. Okay. Okay, expand and simplify this. This is basically just a question to test your algebraic identity. So this is one of the three identities, right? If we have a difference and then of x and y, and then you square it, will be x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So please revise your identity. This is important, right? Okay. So hence find the value of xy if this the value is 49, right? So now we already expand this, we know. So x squared minus 2xy plus y squared equals to 49. So x squared plus y squared minus 2xy equals to 49. Now we know that x squared plus y squared is 137, which means 137 minus 2xy equals to 49, right? So from here, negative 2xy equals to, use calculator, we get negative 88. So xy equals to negative 88 divided by negative 2, positive 44. Right? There we go, 44. Okay? Right. Next one. So here we have a diagram that shows a straight line passing through the points. Okay, that's fine. Find the equation. So to find the equation of a line, we need two pieces of information, right? We need the gradient and we need the y-intercept. So let's find the gradient, right? So to find gradient, right, m is actually just rise over run, or if you use the formula, is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. We have done this, right? So in this case, the difference in the y is 5 minus 3. Then we have negative 6 minus 0, which gives us negative 1/3, right? And the y-intercept c is actually, well, 3. We can just read off the diagram here, right? So therefore, all right, I think my Apple Pencil may be running out of ink. I mean, in this case, battery. Okay. So in this case, y equals to mx plus c. So negative 1/3 x plus 3. Job done. Okay. Right. Next, they want us to find the coordinate of c. So coordinate of c. C is on the on the x-axis. On the x-axis means the y value is equals to 0, right? So when y equals to 0, right, negative 1/3 x plus 3 equals to 0, right? Just replace the y with 0. So from here, negative 1/3 x is equals to negative 3, x is equals to 9, right? So yeah, the negative 3 divided by negative 1/3 is 9. So therefore, c is, the point c will be 9, 0, right? 9, 0. Okay. Now, next, James claimed that the line 3y equals to 2x is parallel to the line. So how do we test whether something is parallel? We test if they have the same gradient, right? So 3y equals to negative x means y equals to negative 1/3 x, right? So over here, do you agree? Yes, I agree. And then second part, explain, because the lines have the same gradient, right? Same gradient will result in them being parallel. Okay, there we go. Next one, in the diagram, AOB and COD, straight line. Okay, find the value of x, stating your reason. So how to find x? Well, we can just go 3x plus 6x degree. This is equals to 180 degrees, right? And the reason is because they are angles on a straight line. So 9x will be equals to 180. X in this case is 20, right? So that is value of x, 20. Next, find the value of y. So you have seen the diagram, you have the hard copy, so I'm just going to continue. So in this case, y degree is going to be equals to 6x degree. And the reason is because of vertically opposite oh well, I spelled vertically wrongly, didn't I? Okay, let me try to correct that. Vertically, right? opposite, and I spell opposite wrongly as well. Opposite. All right, opposite angles. Okay, so you do that. So y is equals to 6 times 20. Y is equals to 120. There we go. Okay, next part. Well, we have another graph here, right, that shows the favorite spots. So you have the hard copy, you can refer to it as we answer the question. So over here they ask us to find the value of x. So to find the value of x, what do we do, right? So let's see. X students indicated soccer as a favorite, right? 1/6 indicated badminton. So 1/6 badminton, right? So 1/6 total number of students is, how do you know total number of students? So the total number of students, we don't know, right? We need to figure it out. Okay, so what happened is now, find the value of the total number of students is actually, right, okay, let's see. Badminton is 16. So 16 students out of total number of students. Total number of students is x plus 22 plus 10 plus 16, right? We don't know what x is, so but we know that the ratio is this, and the ratio will give us 1/6. Okay, so from here what happened is, let's simplify this. So 16 over 96, right? 22 plus 10 is where's my calculator? I need my calculator. Come on, calculator. 22 plus 10 plus 16 is 48. So x plus 48 is equals to 1/16. But here's the trick, right? 1/16, if I times 16 to the numerator and times 16 to the denominator, I'll get 16/96. And that's why just now I wrote 16/96, because this was the method I used. But there are, of course, other methods that you can employ. You can just leave it as 1/6 and then you do cross multiplication. You will get the same answer. But anyway, just by writing this, because the numerator is the same, I expect the denominator is the same. So x plus 48 is equals to 96. That means x is actually equals to 48. So that's one way to do it, right? Of course, I'm not saying this is the only way. That there are other ways, just that, sometimes a good mathematician is someone who actually try to find the most efficient way to solve a math problem, right? So here we go. Part B, the above distribution is represented in the pie chart. So if I represent it in a pie chart, I don't really have to draw the pie chart. But what we need to know about pie chart is that 360 degrees represent the whole thing, right? So find the angle of the sector that represent basketball. So let's take a look. Basketball has 22 students, right? So 22 out of the total, which is 96, right, represent the fraction of, or the ratio of people who actually put basketball, right? And we need to actually compare it against the 360 degrees to know how many degrees in terms of the pie chart. So you work this one out, it is just 82.5 per degree, right? So 82.5. Okay, all good. Okay, right? Question 15. The admission fee for Universal Studio is $73 for an adult, $58 for a child. On certain day, 8,000 people entered, and then the amount of money is collected. So given that x represents the number of adults, find the equation in terms of form an equation in x, right? So x represents the number of adults. Okay, so total number of people is 8,000. What does this mean, right? It means that the number of number of the children is actually 8,000 minus x. So what is the fee now, right? The fee now will be $73 times the number of adults plus, let's see, how much again? 58. $58 times the number of child will give us the total, right, which is 512,000, and that's the equation. Okay, that's what you want to write, right? So form that equation. So this is equation, right? This is the equation. So hence find the number of child. So the second part B, then we try to solve, right? So let's solve this. So we have 73x plus 58 times 8,000 is 464,000 minus 58x equals to 512,000, and then we continue to simplify. 73 minus 58 is 15, so 15x equals to 48000. That's 51200 minus 40. Okay, so divide by 15, x is equals to 3200. Now take note, x represent the number of adults, so we want to find the number of children, right? So number of children equals to 8000 minus x, which is 8000 minus 3200, which is equals to 4800. There we go, 4800. Okay, right. But see, Ian says that the number of child who went to university studio that is 50% more than the number of adults. Do you agree with him? Okay, so let's check. Okay, so what do? Well, we find the number of children minus the number of adults, which we already know, over, well, we are comparing it to adult, right? And see whether the children has more. So the original is adults, number of adults, and we multiply with 100%. So this gives us 50%, right? So I say, I agree. Okay. Well, because come on, man. Because the difference between the number of children to adult is 50%. There we go. Okay, so that is the end of paper. I hope you're successful. If not, well, do your corrections, and if you have questions, please come and ask me. Okay, have a nice day.